From Alameda, California, the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network presents Flying High Over the Zone with the Zigzag Man.
I am back, and you are flying high with me, the Zigzag Man, over the zone in Alameda, California, right across the bay from San Francisco, in the northern part of the greatest state in the Union. Arguably. Maybe my guest can disagree. He's coming back, just completed a project. It's been about a year, Albert Dabah, and I'm happy to have you back on the airwaves.
Thank you, Ralph.
Good.
My last name is pronounced Dabah, by the way, Dabah, like Yabba Dabba Doo.
Okay. See, I did think of the Flintstones, but I thought of the last part of the Flintstones, not the first part of the little thing. Excuse me for that, and let's progress. You just finished a project, and as a producer myself, the gratification that comes from a completed project is immense. I hope you're feeling that.
Yes. As far as the project, Extra Innings, the film, we're in post-production now, but we did finish production, the shooting of it, which we shot for 22 days.
Okay, well, that's you've got it in the can, and as far as I'm concerned, that's completion in the sense that you can do what you want with it at this point. How is that going?
It's going well. I'm working with my cinematographer, who's also an editor. His name is Luigi Benfisto, and he's editing it right now as we speak. Beautiful.
The editing process has to be painstaking in the sense that you're going to be leaving out stuff that it's inevitable due to time restraints or whatever that makes a difference. I mean, how is that agreed upon? Do you have disagreements with your editor? Or are you always in sync? And who gets the final say?
Well, up to this point, I'm working with him not all the time while he's working on it, but a good part of the time. And when I'm not working with it, he shows me his choices of a take to put in, and sometimes I'll ask to see the other takes, or we'll discuss something that I might think might be a little different, and he'll talk about his point of view, and I'll talk about my point of view. But I'd say for the most part, we really kind of work it out between us. And this is the first cut right now, so at times where we'll leave a scene kind of up in the air. Well, let's go back to it later when we're not sure of what take to use or what to cut. So we, are looking at this as let's get through the entire script, and then we'll go back.
How did the filming go? Was that smooth? Did you get the weather you wanted? I know logistics are always iffy.
Well, I wouldn't say smooth, but overall it went well. A lot of, we had about anywhere between, on this given date, 25 to 35 people on crew, plus all the actors, and then we had background players. For certain scenes, we might have had 25 or 30 background players. So there was a lot of people involved. I was not only the writer, I was the producer, the director, and I also acted in it. And I had a co-director who was there every day on set, and I went and wanted someone to co-direct since I was acting in it as well.
Right.
We had to deal with a lot of, we shot mostly in Brooklyn, New York, so we're dealing with a lot of noise. And
okay. Did the most famous baseball player to come out of Brooklyn, well, I guess it'd be Joe Torre or Tommy Davis. Did
Koufax is
those
one
folks,
comes to mind.
were they involved in the project?
No. But as far as famous people, I always think of Sandy Koufax.
Oh, yes, Lafayette High School.
Right, exactly. And
did not forget.
No, they were not part of the film. We were speaking to Willie Randolph, who played with the Yankees, to be a part of it. And he grew up in Brooklyn, went to Tilden High School. But because of his
managed the Mets, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, he managed the Mets. He played for the Yankees. He coached the Yankees, and that's right. So we got to talk many times, and his schedule didn't allow for him to be part of it.
Right. He was a candidate, at least in my mind, to succeed Joe Girardi as manager of the Yankees. I thought he'd be a terrific choice. Did the subject of that come up in any way in talking to him?
No, because I was speaking to him earlier before Girardi left. So, because the last time I spoke to him was in the summer.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you take from the shooting that was satisfying? And were there any regrets that you had that you wish you could have gotten this or that?
Well, to answer your second question, I think I always wished we had more time, but I think that happens a lot in films. You feel like you're rushed, like you're always looking at the clock to get all the scenes done by a certain time. But no, I wouldn't say have any regrets. I was most pleased with the performance of all the actors that we chose. That, again, Juliet Lamond is right here with me, and she was extremely helpful with me on the casting of the project.
Thank her for me for putting this together between you and I. She's really good.
And you could thank her yourself because she's right here.
Hey, thank you, my friend. You're terrific at what you do.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. And believe me, not everybody is as well coordinated as you are when it comes to logistics. So it goes appreciated by this here producer podcaster. And are you from Brooklyn too? Are you from New York?
I'm from outside of Philly, Philadelphia.
Oh, really? How did you get started in this business?
So I actually got started in music, and first off wanted to become a music supervisor. So that's actually put in music in films. And then I went to Emerson College for film production in Boston. I got really interested in the actual film production side of things. That's where I got involved in that, and then I went to transfer to NYU. So I actually just graduated in May, and my major was film and TV. So now I'm into producing, and I met Albert right out of college, and then just from there we started pre-production for Extra Innings. So it was perfect timing, I think, at least from my perspective.
Were you a baseball aficionado?
I always watched baseball with my dad, but I've definitely learned a lot since working on this film.
Oh, okay. Well, it sounds like a terrific project. Are you having more fun in the editing part of it, or do you miss the actual filming?
I think it's very different, from pre-production to production to post-production. It's a very different way of thinking about the film. Because a lot in the beginning, you're still brainstorming a lot, and you're still trying to figure out exactly how you're going to bring the story to life. And now we actually have the material, and now we're just it's more of a puzzle now, which is why it's even more interesting in that respect, just because we're trying to put all the pieces together to make the most sense to tell the best story we can with what we shot. So.
Is it kind of a come down after the filming is done? And I'll ask both of you this, because it has to, you're under a time restraint, and now I'm sure you have a general idea when you want to finish, but it's if it takes another week, this, that, or the other thing, there isn't that as much pressure. And sometimes having the pressure keeps the adrenaline going. Am I on the right track?
I'll answer that. From my point of view, a huge come down from shooting. Yeah, the shooting was, at times incredibly intense. A lot of pressure, and at times, tedious. There were times,
right.
Where there were times where you just had to wait for things to happen, get the lights ready or camera ready or whatever it was, or sometimes going over a part of a scene that was very technical. Let's say shooting a baseball in the right position or something like a shot that's stationary or over and over again until you get it exactly right. I loved working with actors and loved the emotion that was brought by the actors, the way they brought out the characters, and me being on both sides, getting to act as well was really a wonderful outlet and release for me while we were filming, to be on the other side and have that opportunity to hang with the actors as an actor and play with them, and then the next moment I'm behind the camera again, figuring out what to do, how to get my message across. And many times, because the actors were so good, and we did have rehearsal not on every scene, but many of the scenes, there was not much I had to do with certain scenes, just let it flow and give a couple of notes here and there. So that, as you say, when you have a schedule like that, and then it all ends, it's kind of like the party's ended in a way. Sometimes I felt like I was, because I...
Right, your wheels spinning in neutral, that kind of thing?
Sorry? What?
Or your wheels spinning and you're in neutral. Do you feel that?
Yeah. Yeah, now it's exactly that, yeah. So I do really enjoy sitting down as we're editing, and again, like Juliet said, putting the puzzle together. And, we're right now just in probably the middle of the first cut going around, and there are certain scenes that we're not sure what we want to do with yet, so we'll figure out when we come back after we go through the first round of cutting. And
now, do you find yourself peeking ahead to the next project? I'm thinking about it. I have some thoughts in mind, but I'm really trying to focus on this one and get this out. But I am focusing on thinking, okay, and whenever it's going to be done, maybe 3 months or so, we need to make a decision on music and who we're going to work with for the music. Music's a big part of this film, so there's a lot more decisions to be made. And like last week, I was telling Juliet, okay, let's say we're finished in 3 months from now. What do we do with it? So we're started to work on talking to some of the sales agents, marketing people, looking at the festivals. And so as soon as we're done and locked with the picture, we know where we want to go. Right. So there's so much to it. so many different stages. While you're marketing it, will you be involved in the next project so it's kind of overlapping?
Well, possibly, but see, I also have a video production business, and which we're working at simultaneously. We do, a lot of different kinds of video. We're working with a school right now, a language school. We're doing a video in our studio right now. We do promotional videos and corporate videos, and we do some documentaries, and so. But most of the projects we work on here at Simba Productions are short videos, a couple of minutes long. But you never know when the next big quote will come from or where. So there's that. But I also have my thoughts about working on writing another project, yeah.
Boy, what comes through is that you're happy in your work. You don't dislike any of the stages that you're going through. You look forward to the marketing part. It's just a different aspect of it, and that makes for a pleasant work environment.
Yeah, I mean, not always. I'm laughing because, in the other part of the business, or even this part, there's always someone you're talking to and something that goes on that you feel like, oh, wow, how do we deal with this? It's always trying to find solutions, and there are days that feel totally frustrating. But overall, I'm really glad that we went ahead and shot this film. We had a wrap party about 3 weeks ago, and it felt like there was just so much love in the room. I was able to thank everyone there. There were about 65, 70 people there, and it was nice to be able to thank everyone who were there individually for their participation in the film. And there were friends and some family, and it was really an event for me that was very satisfying. And many people who know me well know that I've been working on this for many years, and some felt, well, will he ever do it? And I questioned myself. I had a lot of doubts. We were trying to raise money.
Completion is everything. Until completion, nothing means anything until you actually get it done.
Yeah, and the film deals, with mental illness and suicide prevention, and it has a really good message, and really it's a message of hope that we want to get out into the world and let people know that, when there's tragedy that strikes, if it strikes you or a friend, a relative, to be able to know how to help and how to let people know that there's help out there and that there's hope to go on, and to really be aware of the stigma of mental illness, and to know that, let's say someone's depressed, that is a good friend of yours, let's say, or a sibling, to encourage them to go for help and not judge them, but let them know that there is help out there. And to me, that's the most important thing about making the film.
That's a wonderful message. I'm delighted you chose to come back and share your progress and allow Comfortably Zoned to wholeheartedly congratulate you on your lifetime achievement. That's absolutely terrific.
Well, thank you so much, Ralph. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you. And
and thank Juliet, if she's still there or not. Tell her that her voice added to the production for on my side. Everybody's got a production of something going.
Thank you, Ralph. Appreciate
it. There you go. Thank you. Thank you both, and to Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production. I'll be back before you know it. Adios, everybody.
Bye-bye.